Call this meeting to order for April 19th at 5:30 p.m. If you'll all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. And if we can get an adoption of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda for April 19th, 2022 as submitted.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion does carry. Thank you. And we will head right into our first presentation. And we have Mr. Dobridge of Dobridge and Company.
Yes.
So if you want to step up to the microphone.
Very good.
That's because we're live streaming. It's not for our volume. It's for the
Okay.
public that's not
I
here.
figured I was close enough.
Right. You were.
You should be able to hear me.
You were.
I have a soft voice. My name is William Dobridge. I've been a CPA for over 30 years, and my experience is primarily in auditing school districts. Probably split between, I started my career in Florida, and I have about 15 years here also in Arizona, just auditing Arizona's unique system of auditing. I'll put it like that. And then I'm the executive director, and Nicole Wheatcroft was the non-engagement partner. She reviewed and approves the release of the reports, and we're flipping that role next year, and Nicole will be the lead in charge partner, and I'll be the non-engagement partner. And I'm ultimately responsible for clearing the report for release. So
Very good.
if something goes wrong, it would be me next year. Then the audit overview is, what we're charged with is we do a financial statement audit. We do a single audit report, which we look at your, and that's under government auditing standards, we look at your internal controls over financial reporting, and we look over your internal controls and compliance with federal regulations. So that's, and then we have the Usfr compliance questionnaire. So it's basically those pieces that I'm going to discuss. And then also, as I believe you're aware, that they added new requirements to ARS 15914, and now the Usfr is going to be a public record posted on ADE's website beginning for this fiscal year. And they also made the requirement that the board accepts the report at a board meeting. So that's the changes to the law for auditing. And then we have the first part of the audit is the financial statement audit. And the most important piece of this is on page 2 at the very top. That's where we render our opinion, and we refer to that as a clean opinion. And it provides, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of the district as of year ended June 30, 2021. And then this basically is a roll-up of all the financial information, and with that opinion, this report can be relied on, that the information in it is correct. Because we do issue reports for some districts where we provide you cannot rely on these numbers because we were unable to obtain the necessary documentation.
Right.
But for you, we have a clean opinion. Then, are there any questions on the format of the financial statements?
Anybody
Going
have
once?
anything yet?
Going twice?
Oh, we just have to read all this stuff.
And
Yeah,
Well, you didn't
it's
finish?
pretty much, yeah. It's in pretty much, that's a required format under the GASB rules. You get the same audit report that I always say, like the city of New York gets. Everybody gets the same, every government, big and small, is under the same format with reporting. And next, what we do is we call it the single audit report. This report contains the report on your internal controls over financial statements and your internal controls, and compliance over federal regulations. And these are also clean reports. There's no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses noted. And that's in the opinion paragraphs that we have there. And these are all standard reports.
That's good news.
Yes. And so what it basically provides is that this is your federal schedule of your federal expenditures and awards. And basically with the clean opinion, it says you can rely on this. This is the amount of federal aid that you received during the year for fiscal year 21. Then lastly, we come to the USFR. And I can put this in context. So as you can see, it's very thorough. And this, like I said, this is the first year that the USFRs are going to be posted on to the public. They've never been available to the public in prior years. So we're kind of anticipating. So with that in mind, we kept that in mind when we wrote these findings, so that they can't be hopefully not misinterpreted. If anybody has questions about them. And then we noted that you had 17 USFR comments noted, and just for perspective on that, we average probably maybe 20, 25 comments because of the detail level of what's being asked. And the record low is 2, and we have a new winner this year for high. It's going to be somewhere over 80, we believe, comments. So that we see we call it the good, the bad, the ugly. That's what we said. But this is right in, with what normally we see. And what I was going to do is just bring out a couple of them to discuss. Like number 4, under property control, 3 of 10 items selected from the capital were no longer in service. This would indicate maybe better at in the capital asset inventory. It's only required to be done 3 years, which sometimes accounts for this. But it'd be bringing the capital asset inventory maybe more up to date. And that's a very common finding when we go looking for assets on the list. What we do, we pick the oldest ones we can find on the list, something that we suspect. Like if we see a server from 1982 or something, we would ask to see it.
So I have a question on that.
Uh-huh.
With the date range that's in this report, February 1992 to June 2002,
Right.
would this not have been on our report at the last audit?
No, because it depends what items we select.
Okay.
So we're not looking at, we'll select 10
Oh, I gotcha.
every time.
Okay.
Then we go out and look at them, and then
Okay.
we'll say if we can find them or can't find them
Okay.
with that. So it's always kind of a moving target. Depends what they've disposed of
Okay.
and things like that. And if something just became missing
Okay.
with that. And I always tell people that somebody did find I think it was a 1976 Chevy. They did have it. I was going, there's no way they have that, and there it was. It was in maintenance.
Oh my goodness.
I think it was their pet project to see if they could keep it running.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody took it out on a road trip, so
Probably not.
I don't know. No overnighters with that one. The other thing I'll bring out is we just, and this might have been COVID issues, and might have been staff turnover sometimes, but for 12, 13, 15, we just weren't provided the documentation to be able to completely answer the questions on those. And that's been more of a common finding with the COVID issues that we've been having. Some of the just with personnel and things like that. Because usually we have only 2 or 3 audits left after March 31st, and this year we had 27, and it's all pretty much due to COVID shutdowns, and everybody's pretty much scrambling. But that's it for the USFR. And if do you have any questions about any of the other comments in there?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone?
I need to read it.
We're not done yet?
Yes, we always said that Usfr is a tough read if you go through the whole thing. Well, if there are no questions, that will conclude my presentation.
That's it. No, you,
All right. Well,
fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Drive safe.
All right.
Very much.
So after we read all of this, and we, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. We'll make a list,
Good job.
possibly.
Good job. Yeah.
All right, so,
Wonderful.
where are we?
Wonderful news.
Oh, yes, recognitions. All right, so item B, recognitions and proclamations. Anybody on the board have any recognitions this time around?
It actually is in the high school report,
Okay.
but I just want to say how impressed I was with their scratch art, their scratchboard art. We have a lot of talented little artists in our midst.
Sure do.
So anyway, I was highly impressed with the art.
Ron, anything this time?
I think, I saw in the paper and whatever, the reports, oh, turn me on, sorry. Saw in the paper and the reports that, of all the sports teams and how well they're doing this year. So they're
Yeah, I
doing
was
Oh.
quite
gonna say
well.
that. Vulture Peak softball team, are they still undefeated?
They're not undefeated.
Oh.
They're fourth.
Okay.
They're second in the conference.
That's good.
Yeah, congrats.
Anybody else? Dr. Ramandini?
I have loads.
I know you would.
And I want to begin by asking Ms. Rose Garcia to come forward, please.
Being punished.
Try to do this without crying.
Okay.
It is rare that we get to celebrate somebody who spent almost a half a century influencing kids in Wickenburg. And Rose, we're presenting you tonight with a Champions for Children Award. I'm going to miss you. I've only got to work with Rose for 2 years, but her legacy will be here forever. She's influenced and impacted the lives of hundreds of people, and this is the beginning of a long goodbye we're going to have for Rose. But the Champions for Children Award really acknowledges those people who've influenced Wickenburg children and Wickenburg students in particular. And she's been here as a teacher, a leader, a mentor, a supporter. People come up to me all over town, and I can name some names. At last town council meeting, Rose saved me to graduate. Rose is the only reason my kid made it. So anyway, congratulations, Rose. Thank you. Thank you so much for your And if you can get some pictures with the rest of the governing board.
I need another one without.
Without me talking, that would be really a challenge.
Try to get that little one too. Well, they'll have to move. Oh, one more. Okay.
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 And then we'll move Rose down here with the board, if that's okay. Do you
So
mind?
maybe,
Right here.
oh, that's a good idea.
Right.
Yes.
All right.
Let me move this, I'm not going
Oh,
too
yeah.
far with it, but.
Come back.
All right.
Oh, that's
Yay.
surprising.
Okay, 1, 2. Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rose.
Thank
Rose,
you.
thank you so
Oh
much.
my gosh, that's really cool. Thank you.
Watch the board.
And Mr. Malio, if I may continue?
Yes, please continue.
I do want to mention that we do have a open house retirement celebration planned for Miss Garcia I'll probably get the date wrong, so let's read it in the minutes when we get it in there. I think it's May 12th. I also want to congratulate and recognize our CTE students from Wickenburg High School, attended conferences and competitions recently, and these students did an amazing job and were well prepared. But for most of them, this was their first competitions ever because we haven't had any for so long, and some of our students are new to CTE classes. And another congratulations to Wickenburg High School, who was awarded the Gold Standard for Arts program, which is a presentation from the Arizona Department of Education Exemplary Arts School Program. This award is based on access to arts, participation in arts, and growth in the number of students enrolled. Only 61 schools in the entire state were awarded the gold standard. This was for last school year. So 61 out of and that's every school in the state. So that's a pretty big deal. So congratulations goes along with Miss Gill's acknowledgement of the talented students that we have in the Fine and Performing Arts program at the high school. And I want to shout out a special congratulations and thanks to all of our students, staff, and teachers who continue to support our state-required testing. Most of our tests were not new, but they were all on new platforms. Many of them were new, but they were on new platforms, and we are really excited about the process that our kids and our hardworking staff have gone through. We have a few more tests to finish up, but that's a long process, so congratulations and thanks to them for their work that they've done. And that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Romandini.
It's a good time of the year.
It
There's a
is.
lot of
It's a
good
great
things
time of
going
the year. All right, so we move along to our principal reports, and we have Wickenburg High School and Mr. Gorman first. And where do we start? Randy?
Hello, Mark. As usual, your principal's report is just fantastic. If I went and had to make comments on all the stuff, I'd take up most of the board's time on it. But everything that you cover on there, the classrooms, the grades, the clubs, even, you know, our school officers, and what they're doing in helping the kids, and just every program you've got, you mentioned it in there, and it just impresses me to go see it all. Thank you very much. Good report.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sandy?
Well, basically, I was going to say the same thing.
Of course.
But no, it's true. I mean, I really like that we've gotten pictures in there of the kids, and it's not just a blah, 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 blah. You know, we're celebrating the kids and what they're doing and what they're accomplishing, and I don't think we get enough credit in Wickenburg for the things that our kids do, and it's really nice to see this, and, you know, it's too bad the public doesn't see more of this and see how well the kids are doing in all the different programs that we offer. So anyway, I just enjoyed it, and of course I love the art.
Yeah. It's great to see all the different things that they're doing and get those pictures sent in. And, you know, the other one that I liked in there personally was they were doing what they called Chalkboard Math. So they had chalk with the black paper, and the kids were solving problems like they were back working on a chalkboard, but it was actually just the black paper that was on the board, and then they were doing their math on it. So it looked like it was a chalkboard. And so she just had a twist on how they were demonstrating what they did and didn't know, and kind of went old school with it a bit. So,
Yeah, I just enjoyed it. I enjoy the all the things. What I didn't, I don't want to end on a bad note, but the number of students, it didn't really tell us if that was a plus or a minus, or, you know,
Got it.
gained kids or lost kids, or.
so I can talk to that a little bit. That's actually one of my talking points that I wanted to go back to, because I wanted to cycle back to something I think Susan had asked about at the previous meeting that I was at, that we did a report, which was February. And at that, there was a mistake in there in that it reflected about 500, almost 500 students at Wickenburg as opposed to the bottom line number that was 457. And the reason that number was different is that report was cut from a report that was pulled from our system and pasted in there. And what was not recognized, I guess, is that it included our 8th graders and any kid that was taking a high school class from the middle school. I think we might have hypothetically thought that was the case at the time, but I did confirm that because I looked at the report this time, and if you notice, it's a little bit different format because I just scrapped that and put a new one in there this time. So we are down 20 students from what we were before at the February meeting. About 1/3 of those students that are lost right now went to WVA. About 1/3 of them have moved to another place in state, out of state, and about 1/3 of them are at some other virtual school. Primavera is the primary one that they've gone to. There's a couple of outliers in there. One was a 5th-year senior that is no longer with us, and then another one was a student that pursued the GED. So that's where those 20 students have moved on to.
So what,
you
do
see
you know
there.
what the number was at the beginning of the year to now?
It was close to that 500 mark, high, maybe at 480 something. I can actually sit down and find that real quick, but
Okay.
I don't have that number right in the top of my head.
So basically, 1/3 of the students, we actually didn't lose them as students, we just lost them in the building because they went to the virtual.
Correct. Yes. And
Happy belated birthday.
thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Are you April too? I'm April.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to ask about the numbers, but then, and I wanted to say really good information in the report. I mean, just academics and clubs and everything else, and I'm really excited for the musical. I'm really excited for that to be back. I'm excited to have dinner and all the fun stuff on Thursday. And if you're not going to the musical and you're hearing about it online right now, it's Thursday and Friday night at the high school. And it's only $5 tickets? Yeah, so you can't beat that. $10. Okay, $10 for adults, $7 for students, sorry.
And all of that goes right back into that program. So.
Yes, and they have a great program, and they have so many great people to help with props and costumes, and I love it so much, and yeah. So that's really all I wanted to say. Great job.
All right. Thank you.
Ron, what have you got?
Well, I'm glad you explained the numbers because I was curious about the 60 students that were lost since February.
Yeah, there was a significant number between that one that was on the February
Yeah,
report and this.
so it's only 20,
But it's
still,
20
it
students,
was
yes.
interesting drop, I guess. And I was just surprised that, I don't know, it never registered up to me before, but we only have 87 seniors that this year, so, down about 20, 25, something like that. Anyway, yeah, and I enjoyed, and there's just a lot of good stuff going on, according to your report over at the high school. And the English the research paper topics, I'd be interested to see some of their opinions and thoughts on some of those three topics you have listed.
Right.
What the high school kids are thinking about. So.
Well,
But
we'll
yeah,
try to
no,
get you
it's
some
good.
feedback on that.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Good. Mark, they cover everything, and that's why I don't have a lot to say. Great report, but I do have to go back to the black paper looking like a chalkboard thing.
Uh-huh.
I had, as soon as I was scrolling through and reading this for the first time, I'm like this, oh my gosh. Because I was the one that had to clean the chalkboards. That doesn't say anything about how good I was in class. That just meant I liked to help the teacher.
Right.
We'll go with that one. But anyway, that's clever. But no, awesome report and great information. I like the new layout of the attendance or enrollments. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. And appreciate the feedback. And we'll keep working on making it better each time.
Yeah, great.
Right.
Awesome. So now we've got Wickenburg Virtual Academy, Miss Rose Garcia. Hey Sandy, since somebody always takes yours, you want to start this one?
I didn't have anything to say.
Oh, well, that was easy.
It's Rose's last report, and you don't have anything to say?
Congratulations on turning in your last report.
Thank you, thank you.
There weren't any pretty pictures to look at or anything.
No.
so-
And it is a bit of a challenge because they're all virtual. In fact, that's what we just, working with Cognia in a Zoom meeting today before the board meeting, you know, we're talking to them and we're like, okay, so you want a screenshot of this Google Classroom and you want a screenshot of, because, you know, it's very hard to do pictures and all of that. Our interviews will still be there with students and parents and so on, but they'll be virtually online and so on. So yeah, you don't have as many pictures, although it is kind of fun. They are a part of all these different activities that are going on. We have a WVA student that's in the spring musical, and so you know they are a part. It's just, you know, you don't have as much there. So
Yeah. I mean, I know how hard you work and the wonderful job you do, and there's no doubting that. It's just that I didn't have a lot to comment.
sure.
Susan?
Yeah, I'll say I always like how you show the grades individually and what you've lost or changed from the last report. I think it's great information. And then even to tell us too that like 10 seniors are concurrent, so then we know where that number came from. And are they all going to graduate?
There's a couple that aren't. They've actually chosen before. We always make up a plan and show them, and some of them just really feel like I can't be that stressed out. I'm coming back next year. Not very many, a couple. But that is something that they and their parent worked through and chose. So there are a couple. You know, being behind, they just would rather focus on, I am going to finish. You know, that's the important part. So yes.
Well,
Yes.
congratulations on your retirement. We'll be very sad for you to leave.
Thank you. You know what, it is, I will say it's probably Barbara calls our big goals BHAGs, the big, hairy, audacious goal. And I'm here to say they really are. The cognitive, and we're working really hard to make this, but you know, it is a huge goal, and we're hoping to finish out the first week of May, and do that next step with accreditation. Our teachers, our staff just work so hard. It'll be nice to have that.
I'm done.
Ron?
I was just say, the accreditation, going here that you just talked about. That was one of the comments I had. It'd be good to get that out of the way and over. So you've been working on that. We thought it was going to be completed.
Right.
What, in 2020 or? 20,
Yes, we had
something like that?
our visit actually canceled in 2020. So
Yeah.
anyway, and then last year we tripled in size, whatever. So we had a lot of huge changes with the school last year. So yes, we are closing in on it. So yes,
Very
it
good.
will be good.
Very
It's,
good.
it'll be a great accomplishment, and really I'm very, very proud. I have to say our teachers do work so hard. So, and our staff, secretary, my program assistant. So anyway, it's a team, and we are working hard to get that accomplished. So
Very good.
yes.
Very good.
Beautiful. Randy?
Rose, congratulations on your retirement. These enrollment numbers, I'm very impressed with that, now that we're out of the COVID thing and we still have a lot of students there, but what a good number to go out with,
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it right from the beginning, and, very small numbers at first and that, but this is something that we can carry on. And
Thank you.
very
Thank
good.
you. Yes, we started in 2011, and so it has slowly built. And I will say to you also, I have talked to some of the parents in elementary, and even though they have done very well, you know, they are starting to say, well, I've done it for 2 years, but we might go back next year. You know, things are starting to them to look a little more optimistic, and that's good too. We had choices for them, so we didn't lose them from the district. Their students are still learning, but they also are able to switch over, and so that's always a good thing. And in testing, I'm telling you, you probably saw that. I was so overwhelmed with testing, so that kind of was a big theme of my report. I think we didn't test 2 people. In virtual world, that is amazing. So you know, I was really, really pleased. The effort, the students came in. I mean, you had the ACT Aspire, the AZ Science, but then, you know, you also had the AASA for the lower grades. There was a lot of testing. So really exciting that, you know, we had that many people come. And I will say, I want to give a shout out again to Debbie Hodgkiss. The amount of organization she does to make this all come off for us is amazing. So anyway.
Thank you, Rose.
Okay.
Rose, the only thing I need to add to this is watching the evolution of your program. I remember when you were at the in between the campuses in your trailers up there, and just touring that for the first time when I got on the board. It's like, holy mackerel, how do you keep this together, you know?
Yes.
And just the evolution, and then they bounce you from there into a real building, and then they bounce you from that campus to this campus.
Right.
This is a good fit right here where you're at.
I do like it. And as you see, most of our students are high school level.
Right.
It's just a good place, and we are really happy to be there on that campus. So,
Yeah.
yes.
It works
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So, but thank you so much, Rose. Congratulations, and just like everybody else said, we're going to miss you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It really has been a labor of love, you know?
Yeah.
You do it because you do love it. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rose. All right, so we're going on to the call to the public. And we don't have any public to come up and speak, so let's move along. And we're going to consent agenda. Does anybody need anything pulled from the consent agenda before we take action? Hearing none, we can move along with a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items for April 19th, 2022 as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion does carry. So at this point, oh yeah, I remember some things, not everything, but I remember that. So I'm going to give the floor to Dr. Remendini for a brief minute here.
Thank you, Mr. Malio. I just would like to point out to everyone and offer a special congratulations to Mrs. Anne Marie Davy, who has just been approved as our next principal for Vulture Peak Middle School. So thank you.
Yay!
And I will be at the school tomorrow morning to officially introduce her to the staff. It's not a surprise, but we are so happy to have her official, and promise her that she's only got to do 2 jobs for a few more months. So, thank you, Anne Marie, and welcome aboard.
Yay!
Thanks, Anne Marie. All right. So now we move along to our action items, and our first one, like it always is, goes to our Director of Business Services, Mrs. Erin Johnson.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Looking at our financials, you can see that we are still trending very well. That's been the theme this year, and I'm pleased to be able to say that each month. We're right where I would expect us to be at this point, just based upon, you know, positions being filled and not filled throughout the district, and as well as some cost increases going up through minimum wage and then just supplies. So we're trending well. Budget balances are positive. We are in compliance, and there are no surprises to the best of my knowledge.
Great news.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
This is just general. You may not have an answer. But with the increase in prices, if everything seems to be,
Yes.
you know, is that gonna affect, I mean, I'm sure it'll affect us some ways, but any projections or thoughts about that?
Well, I'm trying to make sure that we have a surplus there for fuel, for example, to
Yeah.
be sure that, we have enough money to cover that. Thankfully, we do have a couple options of where we can fuel our buses and, White Fleet. And then just with the supplies in the maintenance department, we have already been seeing some of those increases coming across just, with the supply and demand and shortages, facilities are able to up their prices. But so far we've been able to manage, and I haven't had to say, no, we don't have any money for those. And then I am taking that into consideration with planning for our budget for next year.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have questions or comments for Aaron? Well, let's move into the motion part of that.
I'll make the motion to approve the financial reports as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries as well. Thank you. Item B in the action items is a request for acceptance of the Wickenburg Unified School District financial audit that we just had the presentation on.
So you're looking for a motion, you say?
I am.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the Wickenburg Unified School District financial audit for fiscal year 2020, 2021.
I'll second it.
Okay. So we have the motion and a second, and we are going to do this one by roll call. So Randy?
I'll,
Aye.
yes,
Seems how you made the motion, I was guessing
Yeah.
that you were going to say aye.
Aye or nay?
Sandy?
Aye.
Susan?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
I'll be an aye as well. So it's a unanimous vote on accepting the financial audit.
I still have to read it though.
All right, so first reading for policy IKC, that's the class rankings, grade point averages, and policy IKFA, early graduation. That's our first reading on that one. So if anybody has anything that they want to bring up, Dr. Remendini is just biting at the bit. Okay, that was easy enough. All right, so we've got informational items to go over now. Items for future agendas.
I don't know if this is necessarily a future agenda, but I was thinking about it when we were just talking. But all of the work we did for planning the 2-day thing I went to, I can't remember.
Yeah, the ed tech design
Yes,
team.
the ed tech
Yes.
design team.
Yeah.
Just to see if there are plans in place that we want to try to do next year. If there is anything we can
Yes.
talk about. Okay.
Is that going to be good content for a meeting, or is that better for the retreat?
I think we'll probably do a retreat and a presentation at some point. There's bits and pieces of that, just a real quick update. There's bits and pieces of that ed tech design team that we're moving forward with, some of the furniture and some of the other things. And then Hacienda is engaging in kind of an experimental little thing with staffing that will go along with that. So to put it in a nice, neat little package, we may kind of wrap it up for you. But it's
Okay.
definitely still on our agenda. Thanks for keeping us moving forward there. 'Cause we-
Yeah. Good job. All right, and then we've got our announcements and our calendar. As pretty as it can be.
I'm very excited.
Winding down.
Counselor.
There it is.
Gosh, I can't believe it's,
Yes.
oh, wait a minute, let me find it.
Well, that works out.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the 8th grade graduation.
24th and 25th of May.
For the 25th.
Oh, what time is that?
Yeah, okay, because it wasn't on this, it's on this.
1?
I'm sorry.
You told us that in an email. I saw that. I did read that.
Okay, and Is it
Yeah,
going to
Vote
be at
Speak's
the
not on
web
here.
center like
Yeah,
it
Vote
was
Speak's
last
not on
year?
So what?
Yes.
What was it?
She's nodding yes.
Yeah.
The principal
Oh.
back there is nodding
Oh,
yes.
okay.
And that actually is not on this calendar, but it is,
It's on the back.
is it continue on? I apologize. Okay.
On the back is the
Because I was
calendar.
looking on the front too. and said
It doesn't
on
have,
the
it
back.
doesn't have the
Yeah.
time on the
The
back.
25th of May at 1:30, 1 o'clock at the Dell Web Center.
So- And graduation is Thursday.
Yes. Yes. And our staff breakfast is
On Friday.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, so we can move to the final piece if
I'll make a
everybody's ready.
motion to adjourn.
Susan's ready.
Can you second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries and we are adjourned.